Hello, fabulous Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of March 2016, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month is all about you. I told you this last month. I promised you I'd talk about it now, and here we are. It is eclipse season, and there's an eclipse happening in your sign. This eclipse is standing across the sky from Jupiter. It is speaking in harmony with Pluto. It's speaking with Saturn. And these are really big power players to be speaking with an eclipse. And this eclipse ultimately is about fresh starts, fresh energy. Eclipse the past and propels you into the future. That might be a future that involves some work, involves some sacrifice, involves some dedication and commitment to see the process through, but your life in some meaningful way, in some fundamental way, is set to feel like it is beginning again. When you have a solar eclipse in your sign, it is a fresh start and a reboot of your life in many different ways of understanding that. So we've got this particular solar eclipse taking place has you looking at areas of identity, has you looking at what really matters to you. Who are you really, and who is it that you really desire to be? Given the element of idealism and yet needing to commit to the process to see the rewards, having to challenge your own assumptions, challenge, whether it is the establishment, whether it is traditional, conventional knowledge, or having to challenge the way that things have been, or the way that things have been told to you, what you should be pursuing, or more importantly, who it is that you should be. All of that comes up for a dramatically different perspective and different look. Those of you born right around the 10th of the month are going to experience this energy more than others, but everybody out there, all the Pisceans out there, are going to experience a significant new beginning. So sometimes, like really, I have seen people go through some really dramatic things when they have a solar eclipse in their sign, and especially if the closer to the 10th that you are, the more you're going to feel this energy, but all Pisceans out there are going to feel this. This is, when you think about the I am, what is the most important, thing that you fill in? And that tends to be something very personal, right? It's not necessarily something that other people are defining for us. It's not necessarily something that we've been told, but rather it is something that we identify with on a very personal level. Whatever that I am has been for you, that understanding is going to go through a change. And so I have seen people, when they have a solar eclipse in their sign, all kinds of changes happen. Like people who, never cared about school, like all of a sudden they go and get their GED, they start pursuing higher education. People who always thought they would be, proverbially, they'd always be a free spirit. They'd always be traveling the world. They'd always be, single and free. All of a sudden they come to realize that that's not what they want. They want something more traditional. They want to settle down. They want to have children. They want to get married. And it takes them and other people very much by surprise. When we have an eclipse like this with the idealism mixed in it, the work that is part of this as well, this can also lend itself to significant changes, like if you know that you use substances too much, realizing it and making a change and working to stay clean or sober. I have seen people with eclipses in their sign who go vegan, people who start eating meat again after being vegan all their life. I literally have seen these different examples of people, because it really is a shift in what is most important to you and what's happening on a level of your growth and your identity, and really leaving who it was that you knew yourself to be in the past, so that you can now honor yourself and who it is that you are desiring to be today and into the future. My best advice can be with this is be open. Be open to inspiration. Be open to your own intuition, and be open to your understanding of what is true for you. And when you do that, you will find yourself being able to embody it and being able to live it that much more. And that's where self-respect comes from. Owning that understanding that ultimately it is about you being true to yourself. It is about you honoring yourself and letting that path take you wherever it needs to go. As we move towards the later part of the month, we have a lunar eclipse taking place. This is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with money. And this is going to kick off a financial trend for you that will take you into next month. I'll be here to talk about it then, of course. But this particular lunar eclipse has to do with things like grants, loans, bursaries, insurance payments, tax returns, benefits you might qualify for. And so this does suggest to me, it's very possible right around this time, you might be scrambling to get your taxes done, because right around that time in many parts of the world, it is sort of late March and into April that people have to get their taxes done. So that might be you trying to get that done. But it does look like there is a responsibility in front of you. It does look like this is something that you must do, and that you know that you must do. And it looks like there's paperwork involved, maybe a lot of paperwork. It might involve you needing to actually talk to someone and get some help for that paperwork, for those applications, for those documents, gathering of documents. All of this seems to be part of how it is that you are trying to get right with your money, get right with your finances, but also to generate more money, to access a loan, to get more credit, and also to set yourself up so that you have some money that you can access to channel towards a bigger dream, a bigger aim that you might have that requires an infusion of cash. What I love about this month for you is that really it is all about you. It does become about more mundane things. It does become about parts of life that are a little bit more about what you have to reach out for, what you have to ask for. But for most of the month, it is about you, understanding who you are, understanding what really matters to you, and being willing to change. That is where your power is. And that really is one of the most powerful things a human being can do, is change and be willing to change. Many of you out there are going to feel like you really don't have a choice, because once you see something that you know in your heart of hearts and is apparent to you is true for you, it can't help but propel you forward. It can't help but propel you towards a deepening of that understanding, a deepening of that desire to live that truth that much more. Once you do that, once you connect with that, and once you nurture that, that truth is a high. And that high is really like nothing else that is out there. It is the high of being you. It is an elevated state of being, and it is in that elevated state that you will find yourself feeling truly at peace with yourself.